So best friends got each other's back. We used to cruise around with a bass to the max. Everyone at school while I was in the lab, cooking up some beats that would turn into tracks. High school chillin', I was on a mission. I had bigger dreams of being a musician. Teachers always talked but I couldn't seem to listen. I lived in a fantasy land, they called it fiction. But I was gonna be big one day, playing shows on the road to a sold out stage. Nobody really cared or believed I would make it anywhere close, I would fail and fade. But that's cool, I love that, cause any little doubt gives me energy back. And now, I'm in a place where I'm glad I never gave up on the dreams I had. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. Yeah, let's go. So if you want something big, you gotta swing fast, swing hard and commit. You might miss 10 times, but when you hit, just make sure that you get all of it, okay? People at the top took risks. Investing and testing is all that they did. It's not complicated, it just takes grit. So never give up, take a swing at it. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast, episode 106. I'm here with my guys, Nikki C's, Blaze Radio, and Rios from the Just Fans Podcast. How you guys doing?
Cold.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. It's one of those. I think this winter is worse than last year, by far.
Well, last year we only had like 2 or 3 days of real cold last year.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we've
That
already
is what
beat
I'm
it this
saying,
year.
dude. But yeah, let's just get right into it. But first, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to the new channel, Hardcore Play and Rewind, our gaming/movie channel, launching this soon. But yeah, Blaze, you said you had a hot take for us. Go for it. And I'm gonna tell NYG you took his stick.
Yeah, I'll have to find a new name for it instead of unpopular opinion, because last week I stated my unpopular opinion of how I watch sports, and I watch it a little different than a lot of people do. I like to stay positive. I'm a reactor, not a proactive type of person, where a lot of people, because of gambling and stuff like that, everyone wants to predict, everyone wants to talk about what's going to happen, what might happen, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. I'm different. I'm more like, I'm a reactionary guy. I like to talk about what happened, why it happened, how it happened, and analyze it that way. So a little bit different. So last week I talked about injuries, referees, things you can't control. This is kind of against how I normally am. And I'm watching my Sixers play the last 10 games.
The Pennsylvania Sixers?
Yes, in which they are 2-8. And I watch the mannerisms that the guys play. And yes, we're talking about a team not playing with their best player for whatever reason, you know, and he's definitely someone who changes the game when he's in there, and that's Joel Embiid, whether you like him or not, hate him for however he's being handled or his injuries or whatnot. I'm starting to think these players don't want to play for Nick Nurse. I get the feeling, watching their mannerisms, you don't see them get hype. You don't see them going over to Nick for, you know, conversations and stuff. So, and I know this falls in line with a lot of Sixer fans' thoughts about Nick Nurse. And, you know, I'm one of those guys who want to stay positive. I mean, I coached before in my life, so I know managing people was not easy. And I've never managed people at that level, which is total egos making gazillions of dollars more than you. But watching the mannerisms of the players, now Maxi's given 110% seems like all the time. That dude's always pushing the ball, trying to find the open man, sometimes too much. You know, like Mitch said the other night, he's dribbling too much. He's dribbling too much because he's trying to do too much. He's trying to do everything. But when do you see like the players high-fiving each other or getting into a huddle and trying to get fired up? They're not. And it seems like, and I'm the one who never likes to blame coaches or management. Speaking of coaches, my man Coach. And I think, and this is without merit. There's no proof to this. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not in the coaches meetings. I don't know what goes on, but this is like some people say the eye test. What I'm seeing on the court, there's no enthusiasm there. It's almost like, and I hate to see players do this because there's a whole half of a season left. It feels like, it's not like they're giving up like they want to lose or tank. You know how I feel about that bullshit. But there's no energy. Like you can see when a team is not getting fired up. And I put that on the coach because that the coach creates the experience or the atmosphere for the players. You know, you see when coaches change, how teams can change with it because of the play and how they call stuff. So I'm kind of falling in line, believe it or not, with a lot of Sixers fans saying, I put some of this on Nick Nurse, not putting fire under the ass of the team. I don't blame the GMs or the owners and stuff like that, like a lot of people do, like we're seeing in the chat. It's on the court. That's who you affect. GMs aren't on the court. They do all the behind-the-scenes work. Owners aren't on the court. Coaches are on the court. And I don't know. I'm losing faith in Nick Nurse being one of the motivational type of coaches. And that might just be his style. I didn't really follow him in Toronto. I wish Randy was here. He could probably give him more take on it. But I'm still a positive person. I'm not going to give up. So many teams can make the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm starting to see the mannerisms and the attitude of the players, and not all fault. I would never blame complete fault. You know, if you guys know me, there's never one person to blame it on. And like Arku straight, it's not on the GM. The GM does. He collects the team and puts it together, but the GM is not on. I'm talking about what you see on TV when you watch the players and the coach interact with each other. You guys know when you got a coach where you see players go over to the coach and like, where's Maxey going over to Nick and talking about stuff? It doesn't happen. So, and I have no proof of this. I'm just saying from my eye test, it looks like they don't want to play for Nurse. Not lose, but they're not giving like, hey, we can still be, competitive. And that's why when you're down by 10 at half and you lose by 30, or you hang with a team till the fourth quarter and it falls apart, that coach got to get him fired up, has to change that philosophy. And that's just where I'm at right now with the Pennsylvania Sixers.
So I'm actually glad you brought that up because there was this Denver Nuggets beat reporter who was there that night in the Denver Nuggets media room. The Sixers locker room is separated by a wall. So they were hearing profanity, cursing from Nick Nurse through that wall.
Now, I don't mind that. I like coaches that have fire and they want to cuss and they want to yell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it a motivational or is it a frustration? See, you can't, you ever we deal on the internet a lot. We see people type in the chat, but we don't see their facial expressions. I want to see what Nick Nurse looked like when he was saying that. Is he going, come on, motherfuckers, we got to do this? Or is he saying, we suck, you guys are ass? There's a difference between how language and profanity yelling at your team goes. Is it motivational or is it frustration? And I think it could be a little bit of both. But, and I see the chat, time is running out. We have a whole half of a season. We can go back in the history of the NBA and see teams that didn't do well in the first half, but can find a way in the postseason in the second half. So I'm not giving up. It's just the culture needs to change if they're going to make an effect.
It's a real thing because I've seen it firsthand with the Rockets a few years ago with Stephen Silas. Like you can tell those guys, they completely tuned him out and just were not listening to him. That's when they felt they needed to make a coaching change.
Tuning them out.
In the process to go that route, but it is possible to lose the locker room, and over time you're going to eventually be out of a job if you can't, control. That's your job as a coach, not just to motivate the players, but control the locker room, control the culture. That's your job as a coach. If you can't do that, you're going to be unemployed.
Bring
Plain and
that chat back up. The last one, Mitch. Yes, but when you sign someone who's been injury prone, you're signing them as if they're not going to be injured. The potential of what they can do when they're not injured. You understand where I'm coming? You know, it's you can't look at someone's past and say, "Oh, I'm not going to extend this guy because he's been hurt." You know, and Embiid is a very specific instance compared to other people that are injury prone or have injury problems. You know, we Mitch, remember when the consideration to bring Paul George was in and you brought up that list of injuries that he had over the years?
Yes.
You know, but you still bring him in hoping that doesn't happen. There has to be hope. And I don't blame them for extending Joel. No one could have predicted what we're going through as an organization right now. No one. No matter if he's been injured a million times, you can't think that this injury, which obviously is a lot more serious than it needs to be, and here comes more bullshit, blaming owners, blaming GMs.
I mean, I'm not going to go that
route. I'm talking about
route.
on the court. I'm not talking about what happened preseason, making the team, building the team. I'm talking about what I've seen in the last 20 games on the court, on TV, which I'm not in the locker room, like Rios just said. It could be completely different in the locker room. I don't know.
No, but I have a conspiracy theory. Maybe I told you this.
I've heard it 97 times.
I don't think. Hey, what's up, Albert? How's it going, man?
Once again, I get where you're coming from on. You don't think that Nurse has control of the lineup. The other guys do, but we have no facts to support that.
That's why it's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But, I mean,
it happens in all different kinds of sports. We see it all the time.
Yes.
People say, "Oh, it's conspiracy," but no, it does happen. Sometimes these decisions come from up top, not just the coaches. And
pardon my French, because I don't know the guy. I'm not going to judge him, but he seems like a pussy, Nick Nurse. He seems like the type of coach that would let the GM and owner dictate who's playing.
And not to mention, if we look at his late run with Toronto post-championship, we kind of saw some red flags with the way that team fell apart before he got hired for the Sixers.
So if you're going to put blame, you got to blame everybody. You got to blame the owner, the GM, the coach, and the players for not playing. I mean, we'll talk about who's hot and who's not later. And there's a lot worse situations.
I said this.
I'm playing in the Olympics too. Fuck you guys. I'm playing in the fucking Olympics no matter who I am. That is worldwide notary. That is winning a gold medal. It doesn't matter. You can't predict whether or not you're going to get injured in the Olympics. Trust me, any athlete, you put the opportunity to represent your country in front of them, they're going to want to do it. I don't blame him at all for that.
It's the same thing people complain about the World Baseball Championship in baseball a few years ago. Why are they playing? Like, these guys, they're from different countries. They love their country, and they get a chance to represent their country. Of course, they're going to take it.
It's a big deal. Like I said, you can't predict. You can't hire people, rehire people with a what if they get injured. They can't. I bet you if we interviewed every GM in every major sport, they're going to say that can't be a thought process when you're building a team. Managing people is not easy.
Trust me. I think I know.
And I'm not disagreeing with Straight, and I'm not disagreeing with the people in the chat. It's a conglomeration of a bunch of things that are going wrong. Like I've said, month after month after week, and it's a big what if. Fight me, hate me if you want for it. But this team has a lot of talent, and we've seen it in little bursts when they're all together and healthy. But I think a culture change might need to happen. They might need to get rid of this coach after just not a very long time. We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know if they could.
I don't want to make this a Sixers podcast either. I mean, that's
what I'm doing tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow, 8 o'clock.
We'll talk more about that tomorrow. I just wanted to say that I see that, you know, the interaction with the coach isn't what I think it should be for a team. Like, there's no energy. And like Rio said, it's like you lose faith in your coach. Like, you don't want it, you tune him out. And Damian's stupid.
I mean,
overrated, diva.
Yeah, they're all divas. But how can you judge someone being overrated when they're not playing? Of course he's overrated compared to not playing and playing. Yes. Thank you, dumb comment, Damien.
Yep.
Why do we
All right.
get that all the time?
I don't know. I appreciate you, though, Damien. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, Damien's a great guy. I really like Damien. Yeah, but actually, Blaze, all the topics you sent me, you know what is today? The 19 years anniversary of Kobe dropping 81. Wow. 19 years ago
That was
today.
like the lead out of all the things I sent you. That's the one thing I didn't really care about talking about. But okay,
Because I did. I
it is.
did.
I liked it. I mean, there's a segment I do on my show all the time called "On This Day," where we talk about something that
Yeah.
happened on this day in the past. You
Yeah.
know, whether it's
And it fits.
a movie release or a TV show or something came out. But yeah, I mean, not too often does someone drop 81. The reason I sent that is because I wanted the panel. Will that happen again?
I was
Will
going to
someone
ask
drop
that same
80
question.
again? And if they do, who in the NBA right now could do that?
I got one person. Wembanyama. I'm
Against
not
who?
joking. I'm not joking.
He plays against
That's-
middle schoolers. He plays against
Now,
real
I-
schoolers. Nah.
I'll say
I'm
I
not
will
joking,
disagree.
dude.
I will disagree because he does a lot of other things other than just scoring points. It would have to be
I know-
someone like Steph or Booker or someone who hits 15
All right, if
threes
you don't
in a-
like the Wemby one, Embiid was close. Embiid had 70.
Yeah.
He
I
was
know.
close. I'm just
Yeah.
Embiid. Anthony Edwards is another one. I
My
could see.
opinion, though, it's got to be someone in this NBA culture. It's got to be someone that's a 3-point shooter and makes like 14 or 15 threes and then can get to 80. I don't think you can
Luka?
get to 80. And I love Anthony Edwards, but he's not he doesn't lead with the three. He can shoot it, but he's driving.
I don't see
Luka?
anybody doing it, honestly. I don't think anyone's that level of scorer that Kobe was. Not
I'm
even
kind
close.
of I'm kind of
Huh?
on that page too. I don't think anyone in today's NBA can do it.
They're just not that level of scorer that he was. Like, he was relentless. And none of those guys have that same drive, the same hunger. They're good players, but they're not Kobe. They don't have that. He's going to drop 50, 60 any given night. They just
Yep.
don't see that in today's NBA.
And there's a big difference between dropping 50 and dropping 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
not just 30 points.
I'm not gonna. I mean, maybe with our crew, SGA, maybe.
See, him and Edwards are great prolific scorers. They're at the top of the list in scoring per game.
Yeah.
But are they one of the guys that are going to hit 12, 13 threes to get to that 80 points? Because no one, like you just said, and I'm not a big Kobe mark, but no one has that tenacity that I'm going to take the ball every time to the hoop, shoot it and not pass it and make the buckets. And Kobe could do that.
And not just shooting threes, driving to the basket and getting to the free throw line and making those free throws.
Yes, that's a big point too.
That's how. If Embiid was healthy, I could see him.
But I'm just
I
saying,
can see
if we ever
you
see
doing
a
that.
stat line 70 or more, 80 or more, you're probably going to see 10 or more threes in there.
I
Yeah.
think 70s probably from some of these centers like Embiid, and maybe Joker could probably do it too. Like the way the Nuggets struggle to score on offense, they might need him to drop 71 games.
Jokic can definitely.
But he also loves to pass the ball.
Yeah.
So
Giannis.
he's not like, he doesn't have the Kobe mentality. He does it all. He's rebounding, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too.
Yeah. Giannis.
Giannis.
I can see because he can attack the rim and no one can stop
Here's
him.
another thing. If someone scores 80, they're going to have to be the man on that team and have nobody else that scores 20 or 25.
Yeah.
Giannis on that team, maybe.
Maybe I
Play
got
the whole
another
game.
one.
And here's
He
another
loves to
thing.
pass, but there's no real threat on the opposite side of Joker, really. Right
No.
now.
Which I'm at.
And if they are at 60 points, say they're at 60 points going into the fourth quarter, and the team's up by 35, they're probably not playing in the fourth quarter to get to that 81. You know, it has
You
to be a
know who-
competitive game too.
You know who? This player. I'm going to talk about this player later in this segment. LaMelo Ball. I can see that from LaMelo.
He's the only
I-
one in Charlotte. It doesn't matter if they're losing. He'll still keep horking up shots, maybe
Yeah.
70 or 60, but I don't know about 80.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
don't
matter
know.
for him.
No, the one person I really thought that would have hit 80 would have been James Harden when he was with the Rockets.
As much as I
Ke-
hate him, I agree.
I mean, that guy
Kevin
was
Durant,
cool.
prime KD could have done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
KD back in the day. Cowboy John, my brother's in the house. Good to see people
Yeah,
pop in.
Yeah.
Hey, what is up, everybody?
When
Appreciate everyone tuning in.
He was one of those guys that he would attack the rim like Kobe. He couldn't get to the free throw line. He could hit threes. It's just, I think the one time he was he had like 60 in the third quarter. They were winning by 20 points, and they said I'm on the bench. He had a chance to score 80 that day, but it didn't happen.
I'm
And
trying to.
That's
Hey, look who's here.
my bestie. My new best friend.
Hey, I'm his best friend. Leave me alone. What is up, Joey? Thank you for stopping by, man. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, I'm trying to think.
2006 is when he did that.
19 years ago today, yeah.
Now I know the Wilt thing, but according to this, that's it. Over 80.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Wilt, the two. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's how. I mean,
What
now
was
that
the
you brought
highest
it
for
up,
Booker?
that is a very Booker had. Didn't he have 70 in a game? Booker?
70, yeah.
Yeah.
It was 70? Okay, so yeah.
But that's what I mean. Once
Hey.
someone hits 70 and you're killing the team, you're not going to play in the fourth quarter, or
Yeah.
very sparingly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
Blaze,
80.
I challenge you to a ring for Joey.
Live from his parents' basement. Sometimes Joey plays.
I can't believe that actually happened.
That's my voiceover for him. He wants me. That's his direction too. His direction. So
I
shout out
love
to
it.
Joey.
I love it.
Live from his
Oh,
parents'
no.
basement. Yeah,
Yeah.
80-point games are very rare. So yeah, shout out to Kobe for doing it. And then I don't think I think I'm on Rios' side. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. That's not a bad thing.
No, no. And then now, Blaze, I need to find it with the stats, right? You
Yeah,
were talking
just-
about the stats,
yep.
and can they hold?
If you go to just that site, NBA.com stats or whatever it is, it's right 4 in a row
Oh, okay, I got you. Let
on
me
the
do
Twitter.
that.
Then you can just scroll down their Twitter and see all 5
Oh,
of them.
I was actually gonna go on NBA.com.
No, this is on
Okay.
NBA.com stats on Twitter. They have them right 4 in a row, and I think it was yesterday. So we're almost at the halfway point, right? So
Yeah.
these are the stat leaders in the 5 major categories now, and those that are close to them. And what I wanted to talk about was, because we have such a long time left in the season. People are saying season's running out, but we got a whole half of the season left. Can these players hold on to the lead in these categories? So I think if you just scroll down, it shouldn't be too far down because I think it was yesterday or the day before. And you're
Yeah.
a slow. There we go. So we can start with this one.
There we go. And by the way, did you see Joey's comment, by the way?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I got SGA as my MVP, not just based off individual stats, but look at how the Thunder were doing record-wise.
We'll get to trades, Arku.
Yeah, we'll get the
Really
trades
the main
later.
Factor.
So Nikki, you're saying that you think SGA will be the point leader at the end of the year?
If he continues at this rate,
Well, that's the question. Yes or no? Is he going to do it?
at this point, yes. And if he keeps
Okay.
winning this way, and they keep winning games and they're the number 1 seed, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, because the players he has around him, 1, and 2, the defense that the Thunder brings. That defense is top notch. So I'm gonna
What do
go
you
with yes.
Rios?
Points per game, no. I think LaMelo passes him up because he's going to play in a lot of garbage time, and he's going to boost his stats up.
Good point. That's a very good point. And it's not, look at the difference. We're talking about 1 point, less than 2 point difference. Giannis and Joker have other players that score a lot as well. LaMelo could very well average 35 points a game for the rest of the year or 30 to 35. So I could see LaMelo catching up. The fourth person or the fifth person, is that Tatum?
Yeah.
He was in a slump. He wasn't doing that great. So he's just heating up. But like you're talking about, there's a couple other ones. So
But he's heating up just in time
Yeah.
for when it matters most.
I'm kind of with Nikki on this. I think SGA does hold on to that lead. If anyone does pass him, I think it's a very good point that Rios had with LaMelo because of the circumstances with his team. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with SGA keeping it. I know Arku will agree.
I'm gonna have a backup, and I'm gonna go with Giannis because no one can stop him. That guy going downhill. He's tied with SGA right now, and yeah, Giannis is my backup. But
It's gonna
my
be a
first.
tight race. It should be very interesting to see how it pans out.
And
Uh-oh.
then here we go. Total blocks and blocks per game leaders through January 20th of 2024 season.
Nope, nobody's coming close to him.
No, Wemby is
I mean, it's
clearly
it's
by
just
a mile the best defensive player today.
yeah,
Unless he goes down with a freak injury and misses a ton of time, it's not changing at all.
it's just unsurmountable to make a difference in that. I mean, you look at Walker Kessler, and I mean, where's Gobert? Where's he at?
I was just about to
where's your
say that.
where's
Yeah.
your defensive MVP at? But Kessler's
Right.
having a great year. I give him credit. I
Modern
mean,
day Ben Wallace.
if we take Wemby out of the picture and you look at the other four, I mean, that's where the competition is within around that 2 blocks. And that's saying a lot that he is basically doubling everyone else in blocks. And to some of Rios's point, when you're that big, you should be blocking people's shots. Now, at this rate, 144 already, that's fun. That's outrageous. But this one's pretty much, he should have that easily. Unless he gets, I wouldn't wish injury on nobody, but Nicky has a good point. It'd still be hard for anybody to catch him in the purr. This is one of my favorite players of the year right here.
Dyson Daniels, I agree.
And it's because he plays both sides. He's unheralded. It's not like we were talking about Dyson Daniels coming out of college and how great he's going to be.
No,
and,
he's a big surprise, honestly.
And he is
making,
and he's doing it every game. He's doing it every game, man. Oh, you're so happy about 69 on there. I know. Get a boner. So the question here is, now he has a nice big lead, but can he hold on to that? Now, we've never seen Dyson Daniels play multiple seasons doing the same thing. So I would not be surprised if he loses that. I mean, is it an anomaly this first half of the season? Can he hold on to it? That's the question for all four.
I think he can, because A, he's next to Trae Young, who barely plays any defense. That is one. But 2, remember last year when DeJounte Murray was on the Hawks? He was leading the league a bunch in this category. So, yeah, I really think he can. I really like Dyson Daniels. And Dark Lumen, this is not live.
Nope, we recorded it. Rios, what are you saying, Rios?
Yeah, I think it's too big of an insurmountable lead for anyone to pass him up unless they have several 7-8 steal games in a row. I don't see anyone catching up to them, even on the per game average.
Now, if we go back to the first one, we're talking about points per game. 2, 3, 4, 5 points a game isn't a big deal. But when you're talking about blocks and steals, 0.5 is 0.5 or 1 is huge in average.
Yeah, but look at all this thunder right here.
That's because they play defense.
Yeah, they play both.
They play really good.
They play both sides of the ball
very well too. Not just playing defense, but playing it very well. What about you, Nicky? Does Dyson Daniels keep it?
Yeah, I could see that.
There it is.
Especially the total steals. Oh, yeah, definitely. He's got a significant lead over SGA, Jalen, Carson Wallace, Fred VanVleet.
Well,
question.
Fair enough. Good.
Question. Do you think he can be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year?
He'll be in the conversation, but I still see Wemby winning it.
Yeah, they kind of overvalue blocks. The last few guys that have won it were, leaders in blocks, and he's a foot taller than most centers. Of course he's gonna win.
Let's be real. Blocks and steals don't get much credit compared to assists and points. They're not in rebounds. Yeah. Assists, points, rebounds are always the big three, but it tells a lot, especially like you guys pointed out, 3 guys in the top 5 from the same team in steals.
And then
there should be rebounds. There should be rebounds still. Keep going. No? What happened to rebounds? Oh, well.
I'll look here.
It's in the, it should be in the messages. There it is.
It's not here.
No, go up. It's a bonus. Go up. One more, right there. He's doing once again. He's having a phenomenal year on the boards. I mean, it's just crazy.
If he's not an all-star this year, I'm gonna be sick.
Well, he has, wasn't he? He was last year. He was an all-star.
Did he get snubbed?
No, I think he was Was he an all-star last year? I don't know.
No, I thought he got snubbed.
You just like saying snub.
No, I'm being serious. I actually thought he got snubbed. And yes, that too. But I really thought he got. Guys, am I crazy here? I don't think he was an all-star. Unless I'm mixing him up with somebody, that's a possibility.
Well,
Yeah, probably.
let's see. Western, Luca, Durant, SGA, LeBron, Jokic, Booker, Anthony Edwards, Carl. No, he didn't make it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, him and Şengün were the two that should have been on it last
Yeah.
year, based on how they were doing.
I was like, thank you. I'm not stupid.
Well, that's debatable.
uh,
Damien, you're the measure of stupid out there, so you tell.
Hey, I'm stupid of being a Sixers fan. right
Now this one, I mean, the average and Cat's right behind him, and Karl Anthony Towns is playing phenomenal recently. So I would not be surprised if Cat ends up with the rebound title at the end of the year. So not just because he's from Kentucky either. I see him ramping up, and if Cat keeps, it seems like Cat is finally gelling with what the Knicks do. Like at first,
Right.
it looked like he wasn't really gelling with him, but now if he can continue what he's been doing the last 10 or so games, I could see him passing Sabonis.
Yeah.
Possibly.
that one's going to be pretty tight because, yeah, like you said, he's playing a lot better now that he's gotten a little bit more acclimated with the team and how they do things over there versus Minnesota. And it's going to be a close one.
Yeah,
I
Minnesota.
don't think he passes him up, though. I don't think he passes him up, but it's going to be close.
It's going to be interesting
gonna
at the
be
end of the year to look back and see if the five, kept the do you have the rookie of the year odds thing? That's what I wanted to talk about next.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. What's up, Blaze? Mitch Henry. Okay. How many names do I have?
Because I have something that leads from what we're talking about. If something happens, it's a very rare.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm going to start calling you Mitchie Poo.
Everyone always
first
calls
one.
me that.
It's like Witchy
Everyone
Poo.
always calls me that.
Do you know
You
why?
know why?
Mitch? Do you know
Because
who?
of Mitch Williams.
No, do you know who Witchy Poo is?
No.
There's an old show called HR Puffin Stuff, and there was a witch on it, and her name was Witchy Poo. So if the old
Actually-
people call you Witchy Poo, Mitchy Poo, that's from that.
Yeah.
If it's young
Actually,
people, it's probably something
Vic just sent me something.
else. I don't want to see no dick pics.
They're planning on suspending Jimmy Butler for 2 games.
He's trying to get kicked off. He's trying to get traded. Now let's
I
go to
know.
the rookies of the year. We'll talk about trades here in a minute.
It's gonna
I'm not talking
happen
about trades. I
eventually.
just find it funny. I find it funny.
I'm not surprised. You see it all the time. Guys try to get disgruntled. They try to force their way off the team, and you do
Yeah,
a little
look at Zion last week.
missing meetings, missing team flights, missing practice. It's the little things that they do to irritate, their coaches and GMs. To get started.
Once again, divas, like we talked about earlier. So this is as of today from, I think it was Fox Sports or somebody. It doesn't matter. It's just one group's opinion, but still. And I think Sar is starting to rise on this as well because he's playing better. What I wanted to say was if Stephon Castle wins Rookie of the Year, if he can keep this pace and he wins it, it'll only be the 3rd time in history back-to-back Rookie of the Years from the same team. And it hasn't happened since 1973 with the Buffalo Braves. And you'll like this one, Mitch. 1969 with the Baltimore Bullets.
Yay!
So that's a big gift.
Who won that in '69?
I don't know. It's 68 and 69. We're talking about rookies of the year back to back from the same team. It hasn't happened for 50 some years. So
Rio, would you be mad if that happens?
No, he's playing well.
Oh
So
wow, that's the first compliment I ever heard about the Spurs.
Same question from the stats. Will this hold? Will Castle win Rookie of the Year? Can he keep it up?
Pause.
Honestly, no. I wouldn't be surprised he wins it, but I see Jalen Wells overtaking him. The Grizzlies
I
are starting
think
to play
Zach
a lot
Edey,
better.
honestly.
Yeah.
I could see
Okay.
Zach Edey.
I like the fact that it could be a number of people. I don't want it to be a runaway. What about you, Nikki? What's your take on Rookie of the Year at the halfway point? Almost
At the halfway point, it's really just starting to heat up. We're really not going to have a good idea of who's going to win this until we get closer to the end of the year because you got Castle looks like the favorite now, but you also got to consider Sar starting to work as well. What does he do over the next couple months? Does he really take a big step? Because then that changes the dynamics. Do Jalen Wells or Zach Edey one of those two go on a hot streak individually? Does Stephon Castle, does he excel? Does he kind of stay where he's at? Will someone else excels their game? So many different questions to ask that we got to wait and see how it plays out.
What about you, Mitch? What do you think? You think it'll
I
move
said
around, or
I said Zach Edey. I think Zach Edey really has a chance with John Morant there, and I feel like with John Morant, Zach Edey's just another threat.
and my pick preseason, he may have just announced he's going to be in the dunk competition, which is cool. But Buzelis is not performing, what I thought he could. And he's young.
Ah,
He's coming off of two knee problems and stuff, surgeries and shit. So I was hoping he could come out the gate and be what he can be now, but it might take a year or two before he really develops. But I'm interested to see him in the dunk competition. We'll talk about that whenever we get closer to All-Star weekend.
yeah. Really quick, guys. Shout out to the Mac the Giants fan and Adam Costas. The NFC East Real Deal Roundup is now live. So whoever wants to hang out over there on the Hardcore Sports Network, please go. The link is right there. And yes, I know if Jerry McCain been healthy, he could easily won it.
Yes. He would be right up there in the top 2 or 3 for sure.
Yeah, he was playing well. I hated his TikTok dances, but he was playing
me
well.
too. It's a shame TikTok didn't stay down, but that's another conversation for another night.
Don't even
It
get
did
me
for 12
started.
hours.
The France games, can you pull that one up now? Next.
Oh, pull it up. Okay.
Yeah.
What is
Pull it up.
wrong?
No, I didn't say pull it out.
You said pull it up. Same thing.
Mitch, you need to go rub one out or something before these shows. So.
That's not the same.
Tell him, Nikki, please. He tried to make everything a pause.
He
just wanted the name Pause to be in the new channel so bad. He wanted play, pause, and rewind.
I did. Someone took it.
The question here is that I wanted to pose to everybody would be, do you care? Do you like? Do you think? What do you think about overseas? I know what Mitch and a lot of Eagles fans didn't like going over there for a home game and stuff, but my take on it is I love that they're spreading the wealth. And there was another article that I posted before that there are players trying to start their own international league. Now, we talked about that kind of before, which the Euro League is going to be tough to compete with. But when you're putting billions and billions of dollars into a new international league, it's going to be 6 men's team and 6 women's team. There's a bunch of players that are trying to get that started. My question to you guys is, what do you think of these overseas games?
I like it.
I think for the NFL it makes sense because there's no real, NFL league. For the NBA, you already have the Euro League. You already have a pretty big international basketball stage. You don't need to grow the game. The game's already big overseas. I don't see the point of it, honestly.
So here, I'll just come to piggyback off of what you just said. I agree. There is already a league there. But to me, part of it is that would make them want to go over there and be like, hey, wait, we're the NBA. Let's show them what we can do. Now, if you watch the crowds and how crazy those Euro League games are, they're fucking phenomenal. But yeah. I agree with what you're saying, Rios, but I think maybe because, the Wembys, the Richachets, the Sars, all these players coming from France, and you got, people – all the older players that were from France, that they want to go over there and be like, hey, don't forget about us. We're the NBA. We got a bunch of French players. So I agree that the Euro League has that market, but I personally think that might be why they're like, hey, we got to get our name over there a little more and show them what these French players are doing in the NBA and keep the NBA as the worldwide leader.
Especially with the rating going down, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of why I say, and they're going to have huge ratings because here's the way I look at it. Listen, from a Sixer fan who lives in Pittsburgh, I don't have a team. I can't go watch my team. So if the Sixers would have 2 games in Pittsburgh every year, I would be ecstatic about going to one. So just imagine what the French fans are like, even though they have the Euro League over there, to be able to go see Wemby. And I'm surprised they weren't playing the Hawks, because then you got Sar and Rizachet as well.
That would have made more sense than the Pacers, honestly.
But the Pacers are hot right now. So they're playing really well. Should be 2 really productive games. What do you think, Nikki, about the overseas games?
I think it's good that they're going overseas, because I'm coming from the point of view of basketball is more popular overseas, especially in France. That's one of the main – France and England, from what I read, this could be incorrect, but they're the main 2 countries where the NBA is popular outside of North America. And you got France, where a lot of those players are coming from, and it's popular over there. There's a good chance you could draw over there in France. You got Wemby over there. You got other players as well, like Schroeder and Gobert, that are from France. So the French basketball
Schroeder's
teams
German.
has some connection
Germany.
with the NBA. For them, hey, it's the opportunity to get to see one of their guys in Wemby and to see the NBA in person. I mean, they follow it already. They may not watch all the games in real time, but they're checking out the highlights. They're watching some of the games, even if it's not in real time. Now they have the opportunity to actually see an NBA game in real time. So that'll do great, I believe, to get a lot of people there.
And
It can be
like
good for tourism.
like Rio said earlier too, it's makes more sense with the NFL, but here's the difference. This is just one game out of 82, 2 games out of 82. The Eagles, you gave up one of your home games out of 16 or 17. That's the ratio of one game over there makes a huge difference for an NFL team having to go over there, giving up one of their 17 games, other than these two teams giving up, 2 games, in 2 days, 3 days. What do you think about it, Mitch? Overseas games.
So I said I like it, but then I was thinking about it. What it comes down to the players, right? Because for me, what if they don't want to go? What if they don't want to
It's
play
their job.
overseas?
It's their
I-
job.
They don't.
they did-
Trust me, I
Yeah.
know. I know that, but if you look into the load management and what it is today,
But I
I'm
think
just
they
saying.
planned ahead like that. These two teams haven't played the last 2 days. They're going to go over there for a while, and they're probably. I didn't even look at the schedule. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't play on the 26th and 27th either. So I think the NBA planned ahead for it, and I don't know. I think it's partially that hey, we can't let the Euro League get too big over there. We got to remind people that the NBA is here. So just like wrestling shows going overseas to give those fans who, like Nikki said, these fans don't get an opportunity to see. As fun as the Euro League is, the NBA is where the best players in the world are, bottom line. And they get to see the level of play. And I can't wait. I am really interested to see, do we get that Euro League crowd at these NBA games with the chants, with the craziness, with the flags and the signs and shit?
flag.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll
But-
find out.
Here's
Plus, they're a lot
another
early.
thing too that I really like about overseas games: the time.
I was just
What
going
time
to
is
say that.
tip
Yeah.
off? Because knowing me, I'm not a guy who likes to stay up late. So if there's like a
BRB.
Sixers and Nuggets, for example,
Yeah,
I
that
would
game
not
was on
stay.
until 12:30.
Yeah, I would not want stay up for that whole game. So for me, it's
did.
all about the timing. Like,
Oh man, Mitch.
Yeah.
Huh?
You
oh
sound
yeah,
like a man.
oh yeah, I know that. It's kind of like I'm gonna bring WWE into this. It's kind of like the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. That'll
it'll
be at
be
like
a
2
lot earlier.
o'clock. I love that. I love that. I always
But, I
look
mean,
at timing. Timing matters. Timing's everything.
Just like it is in wrestling and UFC and basketball and baseball and football, you want that global audience.
Yeah.
So, 30, 40 years ago, they didn't have the means to go over there and do this. Now that they do, I think it only benefits them. Like you said earlier, ratings aren't that great. Something like this could be a ratings grab because it's something we don't normally see. If we get that hyped up, crazy European crowd over there in France, it's going to be a fun game to watch. Plus, both teams are playing well. It's not like it's the Sixers and the Wizards or some shit. No one would want to see right now.
That's the biggest thing. It's the draw. That is
Yeah.
the biggest thing for me. It's the draw and it's the timing.
I hope it's not a
And-
draw. I hope somebody wins. That was
Yeah.
Fun,
Yeah,
fun.
well,
Okay, moving right along.
I got that. It's a different time in France. Yes. Thank you, Arku.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, over there it's nighttime. I think it's 6 or
5 hours. Well,
Okay.
6 for you guys, 5 for Eastern, 6 for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's our time difference.
So,
So
since-
that means it's gonna start like around 2 o'clock. Last year, I remember when the Cavs were playing in China, I was streaming that game and it was like at 2 o'clock or something. And everyone's like, Mitch, how are you watching this game? I'm like, it's on NBA TV at 2 o'clock.
God damn it, I can't control. I was going to move myself over to where you are and move me over since I'm controlling the docket tonight, the segments. There
Go
you go.
for
Thank you. So this one we don't really have to talk a lot about because for the next 2 weeks we'll probably talk a lot more about, and that's the potential trades and the trade rumors that are out there. Obviously the Jimmy Butler one, and we just kind of addressed it because possibly suspending him again. He's going to do, and the weird thing is they even said, and we talked about it last week and the week before, that it's just getting started. Like Jimmy's just getting started of the bullshit he's going to do, but you got to talk about Bradley Beal. He is willing to waive his no trade clause if the team that he wants to go to is in the conversation. But the Butler and the Levine problem right now is they want too much. And if they don't get what they want, those players will stay. Now, I've heard this is one of the what I've heard too, where it could be multiple teams where Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, and Butler could be all in the same damn trade if the prices are right. Now, one other name I want to bring up before I get you guys' talk on it is Cam Johnson. I'm a big Cam Johnson fan. And here's the problem with him being moved. They want 2 first-rounders for Cam Johnson. And as much as I love him, he's not worth that.
Not going to happen.
So
Nah.
I don't think my take right now, and I hope it changes because I love trades and the dynamic of these players going somewhere else and possibly being better or being in a better situation. I think all 4 of those players stay where they're at because I don't think they find the right suitor. What do you guys think?
That's a good one. I'm somewhat in the same boat. I think out of that list, the only one that gets moved is Butler.
Yeah.
Because he is becoming a detriment to the team, and I think they're just going to swallow their pride and just move him for whatever they can get for him at this point.
Yeah. Good point. But now the question is where? Is it the Warriors? Is it the Bulls? Is it the Lakers?
Well, he doesn't
It's
have
not the Sixers. It's not the Sixers.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, he doesn't have a no trade clause like Beal, so he doesn't really have a say where he goes.
Yeah. True. And I mean, when you're doing what he's doing, he doesn't deserve a right to have a say in where he goes.
Now, if he was being amicable and playing ball with the team, cool. But he is trying to force his way out. Hey, you go where we send you.
But they're going to have to lower their price if they're going to get rid of him.
They have to.
And I think they're going to
There's
have to, like Rios just said, based on what's going on. Do you want someone that doesn't want to be there for the rest of the year? I wouldn't. Suns is the other one. That's the other one, Arku. Suns.
I wouldn't either. Sixers had those couple of players from the past. It's
So
the whole
Butler to
vibe.
the Suns,
The locker
Beal-
room is down and whatever.
Butler
Sixers
to the
been through
Suns,
that.
Beal to the Bulls, and Levine to the Heat.
Here's the thing with Miami.
Why not?
Here's the thing with Miami, right? Jimmy Butler, he wants out. We all know that. Tyler, just give Tyler Hero the keys now. Just build around
Bam. You
him.
can't forget Bam.
And Bam. Yeah, Hero and Bam. You gotta do
Jaquez.
that now. That's
And
why I'm
Jaquez
excited for the trade deadline.
That's their
for,
3 now.
Miami.
If Jaquez, if all 3 of those guys can continue to play the way they are, they don't really need Jimmy Butler. But if you can, I mean, obviously Jimmy Butler, no matter if he's being a jackass or not, he has value somewhere. If he goes to the Warriors, they can contend a little more. He goes, to the Suns. If Beal is gone, that you're filling the hole. Pause right off the bat. Losing a star, gaining a star. He's been wearing Michael Jordan Bulls jerseys after his Heat game. So I'm sure he wouldn't mind going to Chicago. Wasn't he in Chicago before?
He was.
Yeah.
He was drafted by the Bulls.
And he wanted out of every team.
Yeah.
He wanted out. He wanted out of Chicago.
Butler.
He wanted out of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted out of now he wants out of Miami. Yeah. But here's Jimmy Butler. I have to give him credit for this. The dog mentality for him. You have to give that guy credit for that. Is he acting like a diva right now? Yes. Is he a huge difference maker for a championship contending team? Yes. Look what he did with Miami.
Right.
He got up to the finals twice. And then I know this is just a practice, right? This is just a practice. When he was with Minnesota, he took the 3-string guys and beat the starters.
Yeah.
He always had that dog.
Well, and that dog mentality goes along with the diva talk we were talking. People that we've called divas, look at the wide receivers that we've talked about, the players that we've talked about that have been divas. They're all superstars. So that's the mentality you get when you're treated like a king or queen or a god. You have a right to be a diva.
Except for Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, okay.
Jimmy Butler, it's like
that's different.
Say
He's
this,
just a
though,
dick,
Blake,
not a
to your
diva.
point, I heard what you said about he doesn't deserve to have say. That's an excellent point. The way he's been acting, no. I mean, on the court, he's earned the right to go somewhere else, but the way he's handled it, he has to he should just accept wherever he gets shipped to.
Same
Could be
thing with
Sacramento, Golden
Embiid
State,
talking
Houston,
to him.
wherever.
Like them or not, they are difference makers when they're on the court doing what they do. They really are.
Here's the
Butler
other thing.
doesn't seem like he's slowing up at all. Go ahead, Mitch.
Here's another thing about Jimmy Butler. Shout out to my guy, Football Talk with Bo. What is up, man? I'll see you Sunday morning. See you Sunday morning for
Good
the
point. That's a good
Sunday
point.
morning show on the
That's a great
Hardcore
point
Sports
right
Network.
there.
It is.
Shout out to you. But Jimmy Butler's age. Jimmy Butler is 36 years old, or 35, one of the two. No one wants to give him that money to a 35, 36-year-old. Sixers did, and look where they are now.
But he can still play. There's
Yeah.
no question he can still play
Jimmy
at a
Butler
high
played
level.
this,
Yeah, he can still play, but I'm just saying.
because he was elite 6-7 years ago. Now
Yeah.
he's tail end of his career. He can't act like this and expect to get what he wants. It's just talent
And
has to be attitude.
Just like Rio said, when you're an elite player and you want to extend your career, just like Bo kind of alluded to too. And we talked about this with Kyrie and other players. Kat, you have to take a step back. You can't be the man. Like Butler, no matter where he goes, these teams we're talking about, what team is he going to go to where he's the man? Maybe Bulls. I mean,
Yeah.
who's the man
No,
there?
not the Bulls. It's either Zach LaVine will have to be included in that trade.
Yeah,
so
that's what
I'm
I'm saying.
not
If
going to talk about.
Levine's out and
It's
Butler's in.
Vucevic. It's Vucevic. Right now, he's
No,
on a hot
he might.
streak.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
best player performance. I'm talking about the man who they're going to go to for the shots.
Team
It's
Yeah.
gonna- yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be Vucevic. Come on.
No, I'm telling you, Vucevic
He's not-
right now is so underrated.
He's
You
great,
can
but he's
get-
not. We're talking elite, the top 10
Yeah,
players.
he's not elite. I'm just saying what Chicago should do.
But if you got Butler and Vucevic and you're in a tight game with somebody, you think they're
oh,
going
you
keep
give
going
that to Jimmy
Vucevic?
Butler 1,000%.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm
And
talking
then
about.
you give
I
it
know
to
what you're
halftime's
saying.
favorite guy, Trey Young. Hey, my guy Xavier, what is up, man? Welcome to the network. He's got a new show with Joe on the wrestling side. Can't wait for that, man. Can't wait for that to start.
So I got
So-
to talk to my boy Halftime. I love it because me and Halftime, we debate, we disagree on stuff. But Halftime, if you go back to the beginning of the show this time, you're going to agree with me again because I think the take that I said about how I feel about Nick Nurse and the Sixers right now, I think you feel the same way. I'll just leave it at
Yeah.
that.
Hey,
I
and
don't wanna
that's
get
what's
back into
great
that.
about the debates. Being able to disagree makes the debates more fun.
No, that's what I love debate. If we were all sitting here agreeing on everything, it wouldn't be a fun show. I mean, that's shout out to Coach and his Knicks talk and Randy and Toronto. Miss you both. Can't wait to have you guys back at the same time. Oh, geez.
That is his favorite player, Vic. That is your favorite player.
So
all right.
we talked about
Lowry, which is
rookie of
spelled
the year. We
wrong.
talked about stat leaders right now. We talked about the France games. We talked about trade possibilities. The only other segment until we talk about tonight's games is who's hot and who's not. And I thought about this would be a nice little segment that we can talk about every once in a while. Like pick a team and a player who's hot right now and who's not right now. So all four of us can pick a player in a team that's hot and a player in a team that's not.
Wait,
Cougar.
Bo, you're going to the, what is that, Senior Bowl? You're going. Because that's this weekend. I gave him a credential so he can do media stuff there. There you go, Bo. You're going. Nice. Congrats for you on that. So,
Bo knows Senior Bowl.
yeah, there you go.
He's
So,
one of those teachers, Bo knows.
Blake, who should start?
Um,
I kind of love this.
we'll let Rios start. We'll start with who's unless you want to go last, Rios. I'll leave it up to Rios whether you want to go first or last.
No, I can go first for who's hot because this guy. I'm gonna go with the Rockets because again, second best team in the West, fourth best team in the NBA right now.
Got
But as far as hot, Jalen Green, because he's a guy who's been in a lot of trade talks. There's been a lot of trade talks. Getting De'Aaron Fox, which involves moving him, getting Devin Booker, which involves moving Jalen Green. But he's been playing his ass off, and he's showing. You know what? He's showing that ceiling that fans when he was drafted number 2 overall, like they were hoping to see. Will he continue that? We'll see. But he's making a real case to be, one of the cornerstones for this team.
I agree. That's a good one. Really good one.
I
So-
like that one.
So do you want to do the what's not too or come back around for that?
Yeah,
I think we should come back around.
Do the hot-
I feel
okay,
like we
Nikki.
should do the hot what's not first and then
Nikki, who's hot? Team and a player right now in the NBA.
I'm gonna start with the easiest one. SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're the
Yes.
best team in the West. and they got their revenge against the Cavs. That last Thursday, 40 points, SGA, and a dominant win against the Cavs, who are one of the top team in the East. That's a big statement to say, hey, we're the team to get through in the West. The finals runs through us. Obviously, it's not official yet. We still have to see what happens next couple of months, but that's the message they've sent so far as a team. It's not just SGA. The team as a whole, you have other good players on there as well. It ain't just him. You got Jalen Williams. You got some of these other guys that are playing their roles well. Alex Caruso is fitting in. Even guys that aren't scoring the most points, like Isaiah Joe and them, they're still putting up decent efforts.
Okay, so you're going with the Thunder and SGA.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Mitch, who's hot? Team and player.
Okay. So I'm going to go with the player first.
Okay, and wait, before you go, this does not mean that they're good looking. We're not talking about that type of hot. For fuck's sake. Jeez. Troy thinks Shaden Sharp's hot. You like him, Troy, huh? Hey, now.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the in-season tournament. There you go. Go ahead, Mitch.
All right. So for me,
player and team.
the first guy I got to say, I brought him up earlier on in the show, that is LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball right now is averaging 31.5 points per game. He's playing to the very last second of every single game. He's got the mindset. He's got the shot. That is the guy. He's keeping the Charlotte Hornets like sort of relevant. Because without him, who will be watching Charlotte Hornets basketball right now?
True. And before you say your team, even in the chat, it doesn't have to be the same team. Just because Rios and Nikki did end up picking same player, same team, it doesn't have to be that. It can be a player, because I'm pretty sure you're not saying the Hornets are the hottest team.
Oh, no.
Who's your hot team, Nick? Don't steal mine. Don't steal mine.
Collective of guys. You know what? I'm gonna.
Don't steal.
I don't want to go to Thunder. I don't want to go to Thunder. I'm gonna.
You need the Jeopardy music.
No, I got it. This is gonna pain me to say it, but Detroit Pistons, because right now they're actually playing above expectations. Right now, Cade Cunningham, he's going to be in his all-star starting lineup, arguably. So I'm going to have to go Detroit Pistons, man. I think they are, if I'm correct, I think they're 5th or 6th. Okay, my bad. They're 7th.
They're 7th right now, and they are 7-3 in the last 10, which is kind of what we're talking about. Who's hot right now? The Thunder, they're 8-2 in the last 10. And who is the other one? The Rockets are 7-3. So yes, those are hot. Those are definitely teams that are playing well right now.
Did I take your team?
No.
Damn it.
There's a team that is 9-1 in their last 10, and they're playing outrageously, and that's the Sacramento Kings. They are the hottest team right now.
That was my backup.
Surprising. They're talking about blowing it up, and they're 9-1.
I know. they are hot right now. Their players, all their players are on. We talked about Sabonis. We talked about Monk and Fox are doing great. I mean, the team's playing well at pretty much all levels, and 9-1 speaks volumes. The Pacers, to me, right behind them, they're 8-2. They started out really slow. Halliburton was struggling, and when your best player struggles, it's tough for the team to get hot. Now, Halliburton hitting his stride. They're 8-2. For me, players, I got 2. Close second is a guy who it took a year for him to develop, but Scoot Henderson is exploding right now. Every game he is playing well. He's starting to show that he can take over a game and do what we thought he could do coming out. It was very slow the first time around. So he's starting
abysmal.
It was like, is he a bust? We were really talking about he might be a bust. But the player right now that's the hottest is Joker. Jokic, out of the last 4 games, has a triple-double in 3 quarters.
That's insane.
He hasn't played the 4th quarter and has a triple-double in 3 quarters, and that's amazing. Now, you talk about triple-doubles a lot. I mean, you think back to the Hardens and the Westbrooks and those that were continuously getting them. And if you go back to Oscar Robertson, and someone actually interviewed him about triple-doubles, and he goes, they didn't keep track of those back then. If I knew that was a stat, I'd probably get them all the time. But to get a triple-double is phenomenal. And I'm not talking about a guy who throws himself 2 Angel Reese layups at the end of a game to get their 10 rebounds or some dumb shit. But for someone to do it 4 games in a row in 3 quarters I don't think that's ever been done before.
As a
And so-
center, at
Yeah.
that, a center.
And like I said earlier, the guy loves to pass the ball. I mean, how many? And here's the thing about him too: when they kick it out to him at 3, he's a danger to shoot or pass. Not necessarily driving from the 3-point range, but you post him up and hardly anybody can stop him. But how many times I've watched them, and even last night, they kick it to him. People are going to jump on him for the 3, and he loves to pass it. Inside the paint, passing is phenomenal. I don't think anybody in the game does it like the Joker does. I'm not even really a big fan of his, but I got to give credit where credit's due for what he's done. So I'll start with the knots, and we'll go back around. And if you don't have a player, that's tough.
Can we stick away from the Sixers?
If you want to, sure. That's fine.
Because I feel like everyone's going to pick the Sixers.
No,
I'm not.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
Because I'm going to tell you right now, the Wizards are 0-10 in the last 10 games. How can
Yeah.
they haven't won a game. As much as you want to say 7 in a row and the Sixers are failing and they're falling apart, it's not wrong, but the Wizards are abysmal. You know, teams that can't even get 10 wins in a whole season, they're going to have a hard time getting 10 wins this season. If they do, it might be just a few over that. So for me, it's the Wizards that are not hot right now. And a not hot player, I don't know if you guys can get one. I couldn't think of one. Halliburton and Tatum, a couple weeks ago, I would say they were not, because I'm not talking about a third string player that doesn't play or a second string player that's not performing. I'm talking about a star that's not living up to their level. And Halliburton and Tatum would have been, but they're both blowing up now. So I'll leave it up to you guys in the chat and you three. You can say your team, but I also want to know if you think of a player that's not hot right now. And we'll go back around. So we'll start with Mitch.
Okay. Blaze's favorite team name, the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans are 3-7 in the last 10 games. Zion is always injured. Brandon Ingram, no one knows what's going on with them. The DeJounte Murray
Pelicans.
move, actually,
Sorry. Pelicans are 7-3 in the last 10 games.
Did I read it wrong?
They are 7-3.
Yeah,
They've
man.
Oh,
been
I
pl-
read it wrong. I meant Utah.
and they're playing really good recently.
I meant Utah. Let's go with Utah then.
Okay, fair enough.
Utah's 3-7. I saw that and I was like, wait, I guess I mixed them up. So
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
think
go with
bottom of
Utah.
the rankings, they're probably sucking, but
Yeah, I'm gonna
Pelicans
go with
are
the
trying to turn it around despite their stupid.
I'm gonna go with Utah.
Can you think of
Utah.
a player that's not performing right now? Because I tried and I really can't. I challenge the chat too if anybody knows a player that's not performing that's kind of on a slump.
Joel Embiid.
He's got to be playing to be on a slump.
I
Let's stay away from the Sixers though.
did have to laugh.
It's a tough question. It really is to think about a player that's not performing right now because they don't really talk about that. They talk about the ones that are performing.
Oh, I have another team that's they're 1-9. I'm not gonna say it though. I'm gonna see if someone else takes it. But I don't want to go with Ben.
Can you think of a player that's not performing? Well,
I
no
don't
one
wanna-
thinks no one thinks he can perform, so
Ben Simmons?
it's someone who's underperforming.
Yeah,
You can say Ben Simmons. All right. All right, Nikki, who's not hot right now? Team and a player, if you can think of one. It's tough.
Oh, you know what I'm going to go with for team? Some of you might be surprised. I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic because they
Okay.
started off the season hot, but once the injuries have started to catch up to them, they started to take a dive down. Now they're 3-7 in their last 10, and they're sitting at 8th in the Eastern Conference.
Good point. That's a
That's
good
one
point.
of those collapses without some of their key players. Now
There's another team that's playing without their best player. I can't think of who it is though. Maybe a team in Pennsylvania or something. I can't think of it.
we know where you're trying to go.
Okay, all right. Can you think of a player, Nikki, that's not living up to their potential right now?
Hi, Judd.
One maybe in a second. I don't know.
All right, but while you're thinking, I just kind of thought of one. Klay Thompson. He started out hot, and now he had that game winner he missed the other night, and he's not. I mean, the numbers might tell you different, but I expect a lot from Klay Thompson. You know, I talked about before him going over there, and I want him to be the man that can close out games and stuff.
Well,
And
here's one.
good.
When you're finished, Jeremy Grant for the Blazers. We were talking
Okay.
about him at one point, maybe being underrated and potentially having a bright future. Now he's just playing very mediocre on 30 to 40 minutes of play per night. If you look at his recent games, He hasn't had over 20 in his past 5. And here's a guy that's supposed to potentially be a guy that could help the Blazers in the rebuild, but he's just playing mediocre. And he's not even getting that many rebounds either as well. Like his most in the past 5 are 8 rebounds, and he's missed some time as well. So like a combination of some time missed.
That's a really good one. Didn't even think of that because we're talking about Scoop. We're talking about the Blazers doing a little better, even though they're, down at the bottom too. But to find a player that's hot, it's easy. Look at the stats, look at their points. But to find someone who's not, you really got to do some digging, or someone's really have to be sucking. So Rios, what team is not hot? And if you can think of a player.
Yeah, this might be a little surprising to some people, just considering where they are in the standings. But I'm gonna go with the Lakers.
Okay.
Your preseason, one of the top teams in the West. They're 6 right now, but 6 through 10 is separated by 2 games, so that could easily change at any point in the season. And when your coach comes and says you get to play perfect basketball to win, that's not a good sign because you're not going to play perfect basketball every game.
I chalk up JJ Redick, and I told you guys before, I'm not a Laker fan, never have been, and I was hoping that he would do well, but I think if he's going to do well as a pro coach, it ain't going to be in his first year or 2. It might take a growing pains, if you will. Can you think of a player, Rios?
As far as a player,
it's tough because we know our own teams very well, and we could tell you from our own team who's not playing well, but as a league as a whole who's not really living up to their potential, it's not easy.
I would say, again, surprising, LeBron. Okay. If you look at his numbers across the board, they're not just down, but like a lot of his stats are in garbage time, or him stat padding to get to that double digits. And it's like, I don't know, man. Father Time is undefeated, and we're starting to see Father Time winning.
Good. That's a very good point because normally you think of LeBron, you think top 5, top 10 in scoring. He's 21 right now. He's 21st. And, if you want to be the greatest of all time, you better quit in the next couple of years if you're going to keep playing like this. And when you have him and AD, they should be competing all the time, and they're not. So I agree with you.
Yeah, LeBron's a top 3 player of all time. AD's a top 5 player right now. They should be, top 2, 3 in the West. They're 6, but by a fingernail, basically.
Now that, going back to my first unpopular opinion, that could be blamed on a GM or an owner not collecting the right players to be around those 2 in the offseason.
LeBron's been there 6 years, and they've had 4 coaches.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the GM.
Yeah, so
it's the GM.
So the collecting the players that are around them obviously aren't working. And plus those 2. AD's been having a good year, but LeBron definitely not living up to his potential. And we're talking about someone in his 50th fucking year playing or something. But that's tough. The who's hot is going to be pretty easy because you got stats and you got standings to go by, but who's not as a player is a tough. And notice that no one in the chat had any answers for that. It's tough. It's not easy to pick out who's not doing well. Yeah, there we go. Halftime finally got the hot take. Yeah, I say from my vision that they are not playing as hard as they can, which I hate teams that do that to the coach. There's no hype around that team right now. And they don't look any good.
With teams full of young players or full of new players?
Yep, exactly.
Because they haven't been there. They don't have that chemistry.
And I'm not making it an excuse, but we talked about it before. There's only 5 players that came back on this Sixers team, and then you get a couple that are injured and stuff. You don't have a team. They don't have a team right now. So, and like I said at the beginning too, I do like to try to stay positive, but it's tough when your team is losing night after night after night after night, trying to compete, but losing by 10 or hanging in there and losing but the one constant, whether he looked like he was playing but Tyrese Maxey is giving his all every damn game. And you got to give credit for a team that's not doing well for something. And it has to be frustrating because you don't see him go over to his coach and have that good relationship with his coach as the so-called leader on the court right now. So it's tough. And there's other teams, like I said, that are dealing with a lot worse. The Nets and the Wizards are the ones right there. I would not trade where I am as a Sixer fan to be a Nets or a Wizards fan right now at all. Powerful indeed. You got the games for tonight, Mitch? That's all we have left.
I got it. It's right here.
But I kind of like the who's hot, who's not as a topic, and we might try to get a couple segments that we keep every week here, like maybe stat leaders, maybe that. The one I want to do too is like NBA past. Like we can always delve into something from the past. We used to do like top 10 of all time or this of all time. So trying to think of a couple segments that we can do weekly to add some consistency to the show. All right, Mitch.
Yeah.
I'll take all home
So-
teams.
I
All
might be,
right.
you're going to be far off on this one.
Wait, Clippers are at home. Never mind.
Detroit versus Atlanta. Nikki.
Detroit versus Atlanta. I'm going to go with Atlanta in this one.
Okay.
All right, Rio.
I'm going to go Pistons. They're playing pretty well. They beat my Rockets 2 days ago, and it wasn't even close. So they're playing pretty well. So I'm going to go with the Pistons. They're one of those hot teams right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, who'd you take?
Pistons.
Pistons? I'm going to go with Pistons as well. I just took over one of the hot teams, so I can't.
This is two teams that are playing well, so it's like it's not easy to pick because Detroit historically last few years has been on the bottom of the rankings, but like you guys have all said, and they are hot, they're starting to gel. Cade Cunningham is coming into his own as a superstar. But Atlanta has those young guys. They have Trae Young balling out. So I'll buck the system and take Atlanta.
Phoenix versus Brooklyn. I got Phoenix.
I mean, come on. So,
Yeah.
Anyone got Brooklyn?
Hell no.
I'm going to take Phoenix too. Although Cam
Alright.
Johnson, please be traded.
I don't think NYG will pick Brooklyn in this case.
Minnesota at Dallas. I don't think
Jeff
Luka's
would have been
playing.
rolling in his grave at the Nats right now.
I'm going with Minnesota.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Minnesota.
I'll take the T-Wolves.
I'll be lone wolf and take the Mavericks. Why not? Lone wolf against the Wolves.
No, Luka's out.
don't
Luka's not
care.
playing.
Hey, that's
Okay.
another name I meant to bring up. Speaking of the Mavericks, Daniel Gafford might be on the trade market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that is someone that I will go back to the Sixers. Wouldn't you love to have Daniel Gafford, a big rebounder, scorer, defense?
Yeah. Yes.
I forgot about to talk about him with the trade stuff if he gets moved. I don't know why they'd want to move him, but
He just got injured. No, that was Derek Lively.
yeah.
Yeah, Lively got injured. My bad. Yeah, I
They
don't
just
see him getting
Arku,
traded.
they just said that they're willing to trade him. So maybe the
Rio,
reports
she
are
went
wrong.
with the Mavericks.
No.
Or-
No,
No, you went
everyone
with
picked-
Minnesota.
everyone picked the
Minnesota.
Wolves but me.
Okay, Cavs at the Rockets.
Two hot teams.
That's a
again.
good one.
Yeah, it's a tough one, honestly.
I think I'm going Houston.
It's two of the top teams in the NBA right now.
I think I'm going with Houston.
You know where our heart's at.
Me too. I'm actually going to go with Houston too. I like the home field advantage. I keep saying that the Cavaliers are frauds. I don't know. I think they're great. Don't get me wrong. They have a lot of talent, but until I see them,
Gee, I
doing the
wonder why
postseason-
you've been calling him fraud. Is it because I've been calling it NFL team frauds?
maybe because I've been saying this before that. Maybe you copied off of me. Anywho,
I did that.
I'm going to go with Houston at home to pull it out.
Nicky.
I'm going to go with Lone Wolf and go with Cavs on this
There
one.
you go.
Boo. No, just kidding.
Charlotte at Memphis. I'm gonna go
Mem-
Charlotte.
Memphis. I
I'm
got
going
Memphis.
Charlotte
Really?
because
He's got
I
to
picked
back up his
LaMelo.
LaMelo Ball. He's got to back up his LaMelo Ball's the hot player argument. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Grizzlies.
Any
Uh,
team can beat anybody. Anybody.
Watch
can win.
me be right.
You might. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. You're wrong though.
Nicky.
I'm going to go Grizzlies
Okay.
because they're starting to find their mix. They
Utah
got two
at
good
Oklahoma
rookies,
City.
Ja Morant.
This is another one. This is basically the best team in the league versus the worst.
Give me the Thunder.
Yeah, it's not a question.
Yeah. Thunder. I got Thunder.
Nicky, you got Thunder.
I almost picked all home teams except for Phoenix.
Warriors at the Kings. I've got Sacramento.
Same.
Yeah, Kings.
They're gonna
Golden
be
State's
10.
beautiful right now.
9
I
and
love.
1 to 10. Okay. I'll take Sacramento too. I'm
Celtics
gonna go
versus.
Clippers. All home teams. Screw it.
I'm going Celtics.
I'll be lone wolf
Yeah.
again.
Boston.
Nikki.
I'm gonna go Celtics in this one. I was gonna troll and say Clippers, but it's not even worth it.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
anybody can
thank
beat
you.
anybody.
That concludes Pick and Roll Podcast episode 106.
Wait. I got to take that back. Anybody can beat anybody, but the Sixers can't beat anybody.
Now.
Good
All
job.
right. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Really appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will be back next week. Peace, guys.
Episode 107.